Hi everyone, welcome to Flower Friday. I'm Sherry with Grace Monroe Home. I am one half of the mother-daughter design duo where we teach you how to transform the ordinary front door into the extraordinary front door. So today we're going to be making a sunflower wreath that is going to be so pretty, I think. So y'all come in and get comfortable and sit down and let's make this wreath. I'm going to show you what we're going to be using. I'm going to be making it on a 14-inch grapevine wreath, and I've already got my little loopy bow here. We do have tutorials on exactly how to make this, so we will link one of those in the comments after I've finished, so that if you need to learn how to make this, you can go look at that. But this is just our little loopy bow. I've just used this pretty yellow buffalo check, which goes great with the sunflowers. So I've got some fern that I'm going to be greening my wreath with. I love this fern. And then I've got these gorgeous sunflowers. I've got some pretty blue hydrangeas. I love these. I've got some little yellow daisies and some beautiful boxwood that have the little blue flowers on the ends. I love that. And then I've got some other blue flowers that I'm going to be using. So first thing I want to do is to green my wreath. So I'm going to be doing that with my fern. And while I'm doing this, I am going to be making a crescent shaped wreath, one of our crescent wreaths. So and I'll show you exactly how to get the shape that you want by using your greenery. But while I'm doing this, y'all let me know where you're watching from. And if you would share this, I would certainly appreciate it so your friends can come watch too. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put my first piece of my greenery in. And you could use any kind of greenery for this, but it does need to be pretty substantial. I like to use the fern or something similar to this because it's easier for me to get the shape that I'm going to need by using this. Okay, so the next thing, I've got that one where I want it, so I'm going to put this one on the bottom here, just like that, and that gives me where my crescent is going to start, and it's going to come around, and it's going to end right here. So now I'm just going to continue on around with my fern. And in case you're wondering, and if you haven't watched us before, I am using a glue skillet to dip my stems in, which is wonderful and so helpful if you need both hands free. And some of you may be wondering where my daughter Amanda is, who is usually standing right over here. She is missed, I'm telling you, but she is due to have her baby in the next couple of weeks, so she is on bed rest. So if you all would say a prayer for her and our little grandson, we would certainly appreciate it. Okay, now I'm just going to continue on around with my fern. I think I'm going to go ahead and put this one in the bottom though. Okay. And now sometimes if you need to get the stem a little bit longer, you can always pull off a couple of the leaves on the bottom, and that will help you to have a little more of the stem showing. So that's, you may have seen me do that. So now I'm going to continue on around. So I just moved my bow out of the way so that I can put one of them right here behind my bow. And I'm going to just continue on around. And you see, when I get over towards this side, I'm already starting to curve here on my crescent. You don't want it sticking straight out. I wouldn't want it to be like this because that's not following the shape. You just want to make sure that you've got it following the shape that you need. Now this particular one, I'm going to put right here in the bottom, just like this. And I've got that one just a little bit longer. I think I'm going to move this one over. Right in there. And you see I've got this one just a little bit longer, but I'm still following my shape, just like that. Now I've got one piece of my fern left, and I'm going to move my bow out of the way, and I'm going to just put this piece here on this side of my bow. And if you've watched us at all, you know that we just tell you all the time you've got to have something on all sides of your bow, inside and outside. You know, a lot of times I see people that will just put, that once they put their bow on, they don't cover, you know, they don't put anything behind it. And by putting the something on all sides, your bow stands up better. So you always want to make sure to do that. Okay, so now we've got our shape going. So since we've already established how it's going to be and how large it's going to be, I'm going to add some grasses to it. And this is just a pretty little grass that has the little yellow tips. I don't like all of the little leaves on this, so I'm going to take some of these off and just use what I want on them. But I'm going to just kind of follow my shape just like this. And I'm just going to keep following it on around, but I'm still going to take off those bottom leaves. I just don't need that many leaves on this one. Now we're just going to keep on around. And while I'm doing this, y'all let me know what you've been working on lately. I always like to hear what everyone's working on. Now I'm going to go ahead and put this one on the bottom, just like that. I want to keep these spread out a little bit. So I'm not going to use quite as many of these as I did the fern. Just pulling down. Some of these I can't get off the bottom, so in that case I'm just going to cut them off just like that. Okay, I'm going to put one more. In here at the bottom. Okay, so I've got all of the grass that I want to use. So let me get this out of the way. I have one more, but I'm going to save that one. Okay, and now I'm going, since I'm still working outside towards the middle, so I'm going to go ahead and put my pretty little flowers around the outside. These are beautiful. I got these at home. And if you have one near you, make sure to check them out because they have got a good selection most of the time of florals. And I love, it's not very convenient to us. Where, you know, it's about an hour and 15 minutes away. But I do go any chance I get because I love the place. So my first one, and I'm just pushing everything towards the top of my stem, just like that. And my first one, I move in just a little bit, and I'm going to have this one right about there. Just like that. Sometimes you can't get them pushed up to the end, so that's okay with these. So this one, I'm going to bring right in here. I'm going to use this one down. This one's a little bit shorter, so I'm going to use this down on the bottom. Just like that. And this one I'm going to put here right above my bow. Just like that. And I just kind of want to turn it so that it's sort of going that way. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I do want it to follow that same shape. Just like that. Cut the rest of these off. Get the tag off here. At least these are easy to come off. I cannot stand the ones that are kind of made out of cloth and you can't get them off. That is so aggravating. Okay, so this one, I'm going to go ahead and put this one in the bottom. Like that. That one just will not move either. So let's just put this one here. I'm going to bring this one right behind the bow. This one's going to come right under here. So now I've got all of my outside spread around. So now I can move towards the inside. So I've got these pretty hydrangeas, and with the crescent style, what I like to do is I like to frame my bow. So I'm just going to take 3 of these. I'm not going to use the whole bush. So I'm just taking 3 of them. And I'm just going to move that out of the way. And I'm going to use these to frame my bow. So the first one, I'm going to just move my bow up, and it's going to go right here at the top. But you see, I've still got it kind of facing the start of my crescent, so it's still kind of facing out that way. And now my bottom one, I'm going to bring down here. And I don't put it right up against the bow. I do bring them down just a little bit because I don't want to mess up my loops of my bow. I want it to be able to spread out and look pretty, but I still want these to frame my bow. So then I'm going to put one behind it right in here. So let me just show you where I'm at so far. And you see, we're just working in stages. So now let's get our sunflowers. I love these, and these I actually ordered from Pioneer Wholesale, but you can use any sunflowers if you cannot order wholesale. If you can, I definitely recommend getting these. They're beautiful. But if you can't, then I would, any sunflowers would work. I'm looking because this bush has some that are a little bit smaller and some that are larger. So the first one I want to put on is one of the smaller ones, because this one is going to be at the end here. And I move even closer to the inside, and I'm just going to let that just kind of fall where it's going to fall, just like that. Now I want one that's small again, because I'm going to put this one on the bottom. Just like that. And now I want one that's just a little bit larger. And I'm going to bring this right up in the top. Get it where I want it. Sometimes you have to manhandle these things. There you go. Okay, so I've got that at the top, and I'm going to get another one of these. Okay, and this one I'm going to bring right down here at the bottom, just like that. I've got another larger one, so I'm going to put this one back here behind my bow at the end, just like that. Now I want one, put that stem well, there we go. Now I want this one to come behind my bow, so I'm just moving my bow out of the way. Just like that. And of course you fix the bow and then you mash it, and so I usually just wait till I finish to refix my bow. I'm going to pull this hydrangea out just a little bit. I've got it in a little too far. So let's see. There we go. More of my small ones, so I'm going to put this one, let me look at it real quick. Gotta turn it this way to look, make sure I've got things arranged where I want them. Yeah, so I'm gonna bring this one just right here in the middle, just like that. So that's where we are so far. So now I'm going to, first I want to use some of my boxwood because I love this. And this I actually got at Michael's, and I just love it because you can get it in all different colors. Here's one that's in red. And I just love that they have them in several different colors. And it's perfect when you're looking for something that's a little compact but has a little color to it. So what I'm going to do is just move whoops, that one came off, so we won't use that one right now. But I just move everything to the top. And then I'm just going to cut them all off. And I'll do the same thing with this one. And then we're just going to kind of fill in places where we may need a little something. And I've still got my yellow little daisies here that I can fill in as well, but I want to do this first. So I'm going to put my first one right here under my sunflower, just like that. And I'll put this one right in here. On the other side of my sunflower. And I'm just going to do the same thing at the bottom that I'm doing in the top. I'm just kind of sprinkling them around. And by going ahead and putting these, now I've got several little bushes of these, but you know, if you didn't have as many, or you just don't want to use as many of these, go ahead and put them in, and then you can fill in. That way you can get them spread out all over, and you can see where you need to add something else with it. So I've got others, but I first want to go ahead now. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead now and add my little yellow daisies. I love these too. These are so summery and pretty. So the first one, I'm just going to put right here in the middle. Just like that. And I want this one. I'm just going to move that leaf out of the way, and I'm going to put this down in the bottom. Oh, one of my blossoms came off. Alright, I'm going to put this one over here in the middle, just like that. And I like these because they are a little compact, but then they kind of spread out just a little. So they just work great for filling in. And you can get these in several different colors, and I like that too. Okay, let's see. Cut the rest of these off. I'm going to turn it this way just a second. Now this one I want to be up on top of where this hydrangea is. So I'm just going to kind of have that right there over the top of that hydrangea. And I'm going to bring this one right here in the bottom up under this hydrangea, just like that. And of course we don't want to leave out around our bow, so I'm just going to move my bow out of the way a little bit to bring this one in right in there. And then we can even, if we wanted to, we can just kind of move our loops around so that it's kind of coming in the bow a little bit and makes it part of the bow, just like that. And then this one I am going to bring right in here. And I'm going to do the same thing, just kind of move my bow around a little bit. Okay, now we can see where we need to put our greenery and that kind of thing. And I think what I want to do, but I love this bow so much, and you know, a lot of times people think, well, if I put stuff in the bow, it's going to hide the bow. But actually, especially one of the loopy bows, it actually enhances the bow so much. So before I put any more of my greenery, I'm going to take some of these and bring these in around the loops of my bow. These are pretty. So first got to get the tag off. Okay. So in order to put this, you could glue these directly to the loops of your bow. I don't like to do that because they tend to come off easier. So what I do is I just move my loops out of the way until I can see the grapevine, and then I put the stem into the grapevine with my glue, and then just move my loops around it. And that way it's still in the grapevine, so it's good and secure, but you can have it coming from the bow just like that. So you just kind of move your loops around a little bit. Whoops, that one came off too. Let's see if I can put this one back together. It just needs a little glue on the end of the stem, so I'm just going to glue this back so it won't come off again. Okay. I'll put this on the outside here so that I can put it right in there. There we go. So there is where we are so far. But we still have a few little holes, so we want to make sure to cover those up. So I've got some boxwood here that I'm going to be using for that. And this came from Pioneer also. Any kind of boxwood or eucalyptus would work for this. You could use Hobby Lobby has got a great eucalyptus, and they've also got a boxwood that would work perfectly. Now before I cut these off, I push as much as I can. Now you don't want them right up to the very top, but I do push everything up a good bit. And then I'm just going to cut this off like that. I know I need something right down in here, so I'm just going to put that right there. And I'm going to put one right over top of this. Just right in there like that. Now I'm going to come down to the bottom and put this one here in the bottom. And this is one of those that you don't have to cover up every little bit of your grapevine, but you don't want big parts of it showing except for what you've left here. So I'm going to put that there. I'm going to bring this one up in here. Just like that. Let's see. I need this one. I'll bring this one up under my bow, just right in here, so that it's just peeking out like that. And there we go. And this particular wreath you could do in several, I mean, you could do different combinations. You know, you don't have to do the sunflowers. You could use some other kind of flowers and still come out with the same type of look. But I love sunflowers, so I like using those. But I hope that you have enjoyed it. Now let me show you what we will. I do want to do something with my tails, so let me do that right quick. I'm going to, you can leave these long if you want to, just like this, or you can curl them just slightly. Which is what I think I am going to do. But let me show you what else you could do. You could take these like this and just roll them up, and then just kind of pull if you wanted to do that. So either, I kind of like that, so I think I'm going to do that. Or you could just leave them straight, whatever you decide you want, whatever look you're going for. But there you go. Now, what I would do, I'm going to show you the back. This is how the stems, we do keep our stems long, which is what allows us to get the dimension that we get in our wreaths. But what you would do now is you would just go to the back and use your wire cutters here and just clip off all the backs just like that. Easy to do. And then just take your hair dryer and blow off any of your glue that you might have hanging. I can't tell if I've got it on here straight or not, but and that is it. So not too hard. So there you go. Now I hope y'all have enjoyed this, and make sure to check back with us next Friday for Flower Friday. And if you want to go look at, we've got tons of tutorials on our website at www.gracemonroehome.com, gracemonroehome.com, and or you could find us on YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to subscribe and click the little bell so that you get notified every time we release a new video. And these are fun to do, and like I said, you could do all kinds of combinations with this. You could do purple and yellow. You could just do all kinds of things. So y'all try this out. I think you will enjoy doing this, and we will see you next Friday. Bye, y'all.